Another exciting week of Staying Up with Pat and Jodi, with, of course, Pat and Jodi. You can figure out which one is which.
I'm Jodi. Hola.
I'm Steve.
Buenos noches, damas y caballeros.
Actually, I'm George.
Thumbs up.
I don't know. Which one am I?
You're Patrick.
Ah, okay.
Patrick Sean.
Patrick
Irish.
Sean.
By the way, people listening to the show, did you know that Pat is Irish and Puerto Rican?
Or Puerto Rican Irish.
Or Puerto Rican Irish.
Yep.
He's a bad combo meal at McDonald's.
Yeah. That was a horrible delivery.
Hey, it's been a busy 2 weeks. We haven't even been on the air in
we've been working.
Because we've been working like
going
dogs.
crazy.
Thumbs up. Oh my gosh. Thumbs up. So we want to welcome everybody. Welcome to another exciting edition of Staying Up with Pat and Jodi. We got great fun, great time. It's going to be cool. I'm super excited that I am getting ready to leave Vegas just when the weather is getting hot.
Yeah, right. You're going to leave on day one of the triple digits. The first triple digit day, the first triple digit day of the year, by the way, which happens to fall at the end of May, which means our summer will be shorter. Doesn't mean it'll be easier, just means it'll be shorter. Because normally we've already had a half a dozen 100-degree days at least by now, in May, especially in May.
Oh, you know what we forgot to say? We're broadcasting from the Mecca.
The studios of Sight and Sound Events overlooking the beautiful Las Vegas Strip. All those wonderful lights. I mean, we just go out onto our patio.
We do, actually.
We look out over the Strip and go.
Yes. Yes.
It's beautiful, man.
We do, man. Hey, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
it's
man.
beautiful, man.
No, you know what's so funny? I periscoped about a week ago. It's been a week now. We had that funky weather when that bride had got rained on her wedding. It was crazy. We did a wedding at the Mirage not too long ago. It was outside at the pool, and just all of a sudden, a downpour just happened on this poor woman.
10% chance of rain, and it downpoured.
And it did. It downpoured on this poor girl, and needless to say, everybody got shifted under a tiki hut. It was quite the experience. But the point being here of this story was that I was here at the office because Eric, one of our amazing DJs, he DJ'd that party. So I came back to the office to obviously work. You were doing a wedding in the Havana room at the Tropicana that night. So I decided that I was going to Periscope. And I Periscoped Girl Boss works late in Las Vegas. Want to find out what I'm doing? And Pat literally, probably my biggest Periscope audience I've ever had.
That is just amazing.
And I was broadcasting from the penthouse, and I went out onto the patio, and I showed everybody the lights of Las Vegas, and I was getting lots of hearts. And at the time, a fireworks show went off.
Wow, that was nice timing just for you, huh?
Just for me. So people who watch me on Periscope, by the way, I am Jodi Harris on Periscope. Please, please, please follow me because next week's going to be fun. I'll be in New York. Pat's holding down the fort here. Maybe he'll have a guest host. Maybe you should bring Brandon back.
I could bring Brandon back, and we could even have you live from New York on the phone.
That's so awesome.
Technology. Yeah, that's technology.
Or we could have a co-host. Maybe Mike Walter could come in.
He won't be here.
No, but maybe I could be with Mike Walter and we could phone in together.
We should Skype you and put you up on that monitor. That would be cool.
Oh, that would be actually really cool.
We could Skype you and put you up on that monitor.
Maybe my mother can make an appearance.
Your mother could go, hello, yes.
Maybe we could get some of my crony friends from New York, Malibu.
Malibu could come in.
Malibu can come on. And
she wouldn't do it, though, because she'd be afraid that somebody would use her body on in a porno or something like that. They would think that she seems to have this weird paranoia of people taking pictures of her.
She does.
And
she does.
Replacing either the head or body, whichever one is most convenient, and putting them in a porno.
Is this what... I have no idea.
Don't know.
I tried to tell her.
Has that happened to her before?
Yes, it's happened to us on 2 occasions.
Oh, really?
Yes. The first occasion, we were in Hawaii. We were in our 20s, and we looked damn good. I mean, we were wearing bikinis. It was me, Malibu, and Stella. Hi, Stella. Stella. So we're in Hawaii on Waikiki Beach. We're laying on the sand, getting a suntan. I happen to sit up, and 3 Asian men, this is so funny, 3 Asian men walk past us and they say they'd like to take a picture. You take picture. So I thought they meant that They wanted
take a
me
picture of them.
to take a picture of them.
Sure.
No. They wanted to take a picture with me, Malibu, and Stella.
They wanted some spank material for when they got back home to Japan is what they wanted. They wanted some spank material.
So I wake up Mary Liz, who's like, half asleep. Malibu is Mary Liz. So I wake up Malibu.
She probably doesn't want you saying even that much. She's like, going, no,
She's
don't
like,
tell
oh my
her
God, she gave my real name. Oh my God.
Go come to my house.
No. So anyway, I wake her up and I'm like, because my hands were sandy. And I said, they want you to take a picture. And then she realized that, no, they were jumping on the blanket. They wanted to take a picture. And she's afraid that we were going to wind up in some Japanese porn somewhere. So then it gets better. So probably like 2-3 years ago, we go to a place in Yonkers. Oh my gosh, I can't remember.
And you saw the picture from when you were kids.
Yes.
And you guys were on naked Japanese bodies.
Oh my God! So I opened.
Was that what it is?
It was me. I was no.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. We're at some Pizza and Brew. I think that was the name of the place. It's on for all you people that listen in Yonkers. It's on everything's on Central Avenue.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're at Central Avenue, and I asked this gentleman to take a picture of me, Malibu, and Sharon. Okay, the three of us together sitting on a bench. Of course, the guy takes the picture of us, and I say, "Oh, that was a really cool picture. Thanks a lot." And he said, "Oh, I just happen to be a photographer." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So he disappears, and that was it. He comes out of the restaurant 5 minutes later with his camera, and he wants to take a picture of the three of us on his camera. And Malibu ran the other way because she was afraid that her head or body was going to be on somebody else. I'm like, "Who cares?" She's like, "No, I'm running away. I'm running away." I'm like, "No, you're not going to run away. It's an insult. Sit here and take the picture." I said, "You are not 20-something years years old anymore. They ain't going to take this head or our body and do a vice versa. Maybe in the heyday with the Japanese guys, but it ain't happening now."
It ain't happening.
So it ain't happening. So that was the interesting Malibu, Jodi, Sharon story.
That's just paranoia. Well, Sharon had nothing to do. She was just there.
No,
she
was a little afraid too. She's laughing and she's like, "Should we do this?" I'm like, "Just shut up."
But basically, Mary Liz took over all the paranoia for us. She took the paranoia brunt. She took the hit.
She took the hit. Yet she'll be on a Vine video and she'll be like, "Hi Pat, hi Pat, hi Pat." She'll do that. She's not afraid to do that.
Here's the thing. She doesn't realize that I'm not the only one that can see that. If the moment she figures out that I'm not the only one that can see that, she's never going to do it again. We probably shouldn't even have mentioned this now.
I know. She's going to be mad at me. I'm going to have to hear the brunt of this, Malibu. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. In a week from today,
shut up, Pat.
Jodi will be getting hell about everything we talked about here. Guaranteed.
Well, she already sent me an email.
What?
She sent me an email about one of the stories. Oh, the prom story about the guys we all went to the OLVA prom with. She knows. She's amazing. I think my memory is good. She knows stuff that I don't even know. She remembered the names of the people at the prom, but that's a different story.
Yeah, you two have a weird memory too for like names of people in the sixth grade.
I could remember the bullies.
Yeah.
I could remember the bullies. Seriously, I do. And remember, we talked enough. I remember the bullies, and I'm sure that there are young kids out there today that will probably, when they get to be my age, which is 32, they're going to remember the bullies too.
Absolutely.
So,
32 years from now.
don't mention Vito Baffoli.
Hey, Vito Baffoli. How you doing, Vito?
But anyway, Pat,
how you doing?
Enough about all this crazy.
Well, we hope everybody had a great Memorial Weekend.
Yes.
And one of the things we talked that was mentioned on a post on Facebook, which I thought was interesting because it seems like it should be fairly common knowledge, but I guess it isn't. Do you know what the difference is between Memorial Day and Veterans Day?
Memorial Day honors the people that passed away, that were that are veterans,
that were died in battle,
right? And Veterans Day just remembers everybody.
Because I thought that was kind of a common thing that people all knew, and apparently a lot of people didn't know. Thumbs up that you do that.
I get a thumbs up that I knew that. Huh?
Memorial Day in memoriam, and I thought even just the word, but I guess a lot of people don't know that. But yeah, it was that's some day that I think we need to obviously honor the men who have died for our freedom, and I think it's we forget sometimes, and all we think is that it's a day off to go barbecue. And hey, we did barbecue, but we also we remember what the day was for.
That's true. That's very true. So hats off to all those guys out there.
Absolutely.
So, Pat, I'm going to open up the show with some WWE rumors
of course.
and news.
By Mike Walters.
By Mike Walter.
We'll talk to you later.
Would you stop saying
it's
Walter?
too much fun now.
When you go to Seattle, he's going to just kick your Pedro ass.
I'm twice his size. He couldn't do it.
I don't know. But by the time we go to our think tank in Seattle, you might be half the man you are here now.
No, but anything I take away fat's going to be replaced with muscle. So, and remember, he's a runner. He's one of those skinny guys. He can get away. It's just once you catch him, he's weak.
All right. Anyway,
he's weak he's weak like a little girl. He's got skinny little muscles.
Hello to
tiny
Vinny.
little arms.
Oh my God.
He's very weak.
Thank you, Arnold. If they're watching, like, wow, Arnold showed up in the studio.
Go to the gym now.
Put that cookie down.
Put the cookie down.
Ow.
Now.
All right. So anyway, Mike is taking a hike, but Vinny is sticking with the show because
he likes
WWE.
WWE and muscles, guys with muscles.
And he's Spanish like you. So there you go. What can I tell you? So the latest news that we're hearing is that Dana White might be involved with WrestleMania 32.
Wow.
Yes. It is leaked out.
Cross promotion.
Yes.
They've been trying to do that for years.
It's leaked out, apparently, and we might see wouldn't that be interesting? Because CM Punk is now fighting with the UFC.
UFC, yeah.
And if there's a WrestleMania cross, like that would be tremendous, by the way.
CM Punk could, although CM Punk, I don't know, he seems a little bitter on wrestling right now.
Yeah,
I don't know if he would show up, even though there would be a worldwide audience to see him.
He'd make a ton
and that
of
would
money.
that would make his fight all the better.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, his first fight
it makes sense to cross promote because believe it or not, a lot of people go, "Oh yeah, that's going to help the WWF a lot." Actually, it's the other way around.
Right.
WWF has a much bigger embedded loyal audience than UFC does.
So they're talking about possibly that and Ronda Rousey. Because she was, people knew that she was going to be at WrestleMania because obviously she tweeted it out and she let people know. But no one in a million years ever thought that she was going to get so involved like she did.
Well, see, Ronda Rousey's smart because unlike some of the other UFC fighters who have gotten involved in the movies and different stuffs after their careers were over or at the very end of their careers, she's getting involved at the height of their career, like The Rock. So Ronda Rousey is probably their biggest star right now. And I just mean that in the sense of putting butts in seats because the reality is a lot of their big fighters are either injured or in jail. So not a lot of them, but a couple of them. And they've been having some issues here recently with, the numbers drop every once in a while like all sports do, but they lost two of their top guys. Ronda Rousey's going to actually have to pull in a lot of weight. She's pulling a lot of weight on her own.
I think she is. She's getting a lot of press, a lot of media these days.
She was in the Expendables, the recent Expendables movie.
She is in there's a nice article, 3 to 4 page spread on her in this week's Rolling Stone magazine. So if you guys definitely check that out. And of course, her brand new book just came out, her biography, which I will be reading on the plane. I showed you, I purchased it on Amazon.com. The actual physical book. I'm one of those people that loves to read the tablet. I'm all about the tablet. But on the plane, because you got takeoff and all this crap, I just went out and bought the book. So I'm really looking forward to reading her story because she's a very interesting woman. And I really think this would be great for WWE. We're going into, think about it. They have to sell out Cowboy Stadium.
And that's huge. That's a lot of people.
Which brings us back to the old Pontiac Silverdome days.
Yeah.
The numbers have to be huge. Huge.
Which they were in San Jose. It was close to 80,000 in San Jose,
right,
and they have to do like 90,000 for
Cowboy Stadium.
Cowboy Stadium, I think it is over 90,000. So that's, but WWE always figures it out. But I think it's smart to cross promote. I think both organizations are going to benefit from it. I think especially since there are because CM Punk is getting involved with the UFC, that's going to drag more of the WWE followers into the UFC because they're not necessarily the same people. Mm-hmm. There are some that will watch both, but they're not necessarily always the same audience, so they'll draw from that. And vice versa. There's people,
I'm one of those people that never was into the whole UFC thing, and now I'm super excited. I'm so glad I live in Las Vegas because I never know if I can go to one because I'm always working. But I hope that I have an opportunity to go to the next one. I saw the Rage in the Cage or whatever it was.
And because you have a connection to one of the fighters now with Ronda Rousey, and I think that's the biggest thing where a lot of these sports miss out, and we've talked about that for years with boxing. with the fact that we produce a boxing show, that part of the reason why boxing suffers at times is because nobody really truly knows who these fighters are, and you're not going to root for somebody, and you're not going to fork over your hard-earned dollars to watch somebody fight that you don't know or care about. And Ronda Rousey has really gotten herself in the public eye. She's become part of pop culture. And,
Definitely.
She is a former Olympic athlete. But after she was an Olympic athlete, she talked about it. She was a cocktail waitress on Crenshaw and Adams, crappy
Tough neighborhood, man. Tough neighborhood. And she lived in her car. She was cocktailing and living in the back of her car. So I don't know too much about her, but from what I read, it's a pretty interesting story. And I really do hope that the WWE and the UFC do some kind of cross promote, because I think it's going to be super interesting. We'll get to see a lot of their talents on some WWE shows. Those will start bringing that, and vice versa. We'll see some WWE talent going to a UFC show. How cool!
Yeah.
Stephanie McMahon shows up at Ronda's fight, in August.
No, absolutely.
That'll be kind of cool.
I think it's a tougher sell to bring a WWE guy to the UFC, because people are going to go, it's fake, even though that's probably part of what they're trying to get CM Punk is to bring a crossover. But it's much easier to get one of their top people, Ronda Rousey or somebody like that, and bring them to a WWE event. I think it's a tougher sell going the other direction, but they'll make it work. There's some smart people involved, and
that's
a
marketing machine. That
absolutely.
is, between the two of them, that's a marketing machine going on right there.
You got to say the UFC has done it right. The reason why they have the popularity they do now is because they've put their product out to the public eye, and they've made it a part of pop culture, and they've connected to the younger generation who's now much more interested in UFC than they are in boxing. And a lot of that is the programming, because they see the reality shows, they see and they've put that effort into getting the sport out there. Otherwise, it would still be this little underground sport that you watched at Saturday night at 1 in the morning on, whatever weird sports channel.
Yep, absolutely. So, Pat, I see that you pulled up the
same
floods.
story, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, 10 dead, 16 missing. That is, you and I've been to, we were in Houston, Texas, and remember we got stuck in that one downpour? And remember how that thing flooded like a bowl? And he had to carry me on his shoulders because I was all dressed up with pumps on. You remember you carried me through the rain?
Yeah, I had to carry you through because there was going through like 6 inches of water, and I was in tennis shoes and shorts, so I didn't care. But they get some nasty weather down there because they're right off the Gulf. And the Gulf produces some nasty, nasty weather, and they just got hit with some of it. And apparently Dallas is even expecting some bad weather here coming up, and some massive flooding. I mean, there was talking about one of the rivers that flood levels, it normally peaks at 16 feet, was at like 60 some odd feet or whatever it was. It was completely, houses washed away. And
there was a woman who
flooded.
called her sister, her last phone call was that she and her home were floating away, and they never found her yet. As of right now, they never found the woman or her 2 children. I think they found her husband, and he was all like busted up, but they haven't found the wife or the kids. But you would think if your house is floating down the river, I guess stuff is.
Yeah, but structurally, it's going to eventually. It's not a ship. It's not made to float down a river. It's designed to be static, non-moving, which means when it's being shifted around like that, you have to imagine that it's like being hit with constantly by a 7.0 earthquake. And then it's just constantly shaking the structure, and eventually it's just going to crumble in on itself. It's not going to float like a houseboat.
So it's not going to be like, Noah's Ark.
They're not designed for that. They're simply not designed for that.
Wow.
They're simply not designed for that.
Our thoughts and prayers are out to those people that are just, it's a beautiful, I like Texas. I love Texas.
I do too.
The people from Texas are super cool people, always friendly. I haven't met a mean Texan yet. Well, maybe Stan the man, the heart punch guy, Stasiak.
Hey, Stone Cold,
the Texas Rattlesnake, but he's a really nice guy in real person. In real life.
He just plays a mean guy.
And look at our own Eric Roberts.
Need
I say more?
Very nice guy. Not much hair, but a very nice guy.
I think that's part of the being into. And Glenn Roush. living in Dallas, shout out. But the earthquake, we did have an earthquake here in Las Vegas. I was sitting in the penthouse. Yeah, I you know what? It was a joke, Pat.
First of all, it was centered.
You would think that this earthquake was like San Andreas, the movie.
The best part of this, first of all, if any of you are in Southern California or anywhere where there's earthquakes, this was a 4.8. So start laughing now. Yes. And it was centered over 100 miles away outside of Caliente, Nevada, which is out by Area 51. So it's over 100 miles away.
Pretty cool place. Nothing there. Nothing there.
They're taking, you know how when these natural disasters happen and people send in because I'm looking at, a screenshot of somebody's cars that are floating down, and this is like a neighborhood, and it's the water's up to, this is all people's images that they send into the news stations. Well, they actually had a picture, and I'm not kidding you, and they showed it multiple times of two pictures, one on top of the other, where the top picture, wait for it, was crooked.
Oh yeah, you're talking about that guy. This is
what you show for damage?
Exactly. And then they interrupt. Are you ready for this, girls and boys? They interrupt my days of our lives over a silly little earthquake that nothing happened. No, nothing was knocked off a shelf. Nobody was hurt.
I never felt a
thing.
This
went on.
I did not
he was
even
in the shower. He didn't feel
feel
anything. I felt it. I was sitting here typing away.
I thought the dog farted. That's all it was.
I thought it was you that farted.
Yeah, well,
never mind.
Mine are bigger than 4.8.
That's the truth. But the building just went like this. And I'm sitting there typing away, and I'm like, I either thought it was because, out here we have big trucks that go by. I thought it was
a commercial area.
I thought it was a truck, but then I'm like, this is a little bit longer than I thought. I think we have an earthquake. So immediately, what do? Social media queen that I am, I go on Facebook and I say, I think we had an earthquake. Nobody responded.
She didn't duck and cover. She didn't get under the table. She goes onto Facebook.
Thumbs
Emergency
up.
Earthquake.
Thumbs,
Facebook.
I like it. Thumbs up. Come on, I have a Facebook thumb here in front of me if you're watching this on the YouTube channel. But no, then I went on Twitter, and sure enough, the first thing on Twitter, earthquake hits Las Vegas. And you would think that it was the end of the world. Every news station, every radio station, it was like 24/7
cut into programming
coverage of an earthquake.
They were
in
showing
Las Vegas
cracks in houses that how
that had cracks already.
They probably already had cracks, and then it's like how if you put plaster down and it dries out and it gets this thin crack in like a seam. That's what it was. That's what they were. It wasn't like that. These beams were separated, or
it wasn't like God forbid, San Francisco back in the day when the bridge collapsed. Nothing like that.
There was nothing. We had the only structural damage that we had. That they're still not even sure if it was from this because somebody just noticed it. Was a bridge that the seam had come apart like 6 inches. So, but if you look down, it's like, instead of the seam being, a few inches apart, now it was an extra 6 inches apart.
And a pipe burst.
Burst. But here's the thing. The pipe
was 65 years old.
And so
it was going to burst anyway.
It could have been a contributing factor to a pipe that was going to burst anyway because it was built back when Bugsy Siegel was building the Flamingo. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So if you see things shake here at the Sight and Sound studio, who knows? We've had one earthquake. We could have another. Well, and you'll be watching it live. So, Pat, you can just tilt the camera side to side. But I just thought it was ridiculous. I mean, enough is enough with the coverage. If something bad happened, I'm all for it. Remember, in a previous life, I was one of the people that, I had to take your complaint.
Yeah.
But
here's the thing, too. It's kind of like when we have rain here, or when you're in a weather area like this. Southern California is guilty of it, too. The storm of 2015, and you have a newscaster showing, look, there's water on the ground. And people from the south are going, are you shitting me? That's the storm of 2015?
Exactly.
You had to turn your windshield wipers on, so that's the storm of 2015? That's basically what the equivalency was here, is that they were looking at stuff, and honestly, they even showed one where it was like security footage of like slight shaking, and you could see that it was somebody filming their screen from their security camera, and it was the camera that was shaking. So they showed.
Oh my gosh, Pat!
They had their hands. They're like, "I'm getting this on the news," and they probably put their camera in front of their phone in front of their
Hepburn.
and they just started shaking. This is an earthquake. All right, yeah, look, see, it's shaking.
There was an earthquake. But what about when they went down to Fremont Street and they started interviewing drunk people? Like, hey, did you feel the earthquake? Hey, man, it's party time all the time. We had an earthquake. I mean, and people were like covering their faces because they didn't want to be on TV. Half the people that they interviewed on Fremont Street didn't even know there was an earthquake. They're like, huh? So
yeah, they had no clue.
But
trust me, neither did I. You had to be upstairs.
I knew.
Think you had to be higher because we're upstairs here. So
we're in a penthouse. Come on,
penthouse.
Pat.
So that's probably because I'm being at the house. I was on the ground floor and I felt nothing.
I felt it.
I didn't feel a rumble. Nothing.
A rumble.
The dogs slept through it.
Yeah, and they say the pets are supposed to feel an earthquake or something. R2, Chingo.
They can hear
Chingo
better than
was
we can.
looking for food.
They were asleep.
They didn't budge. But thank God, Pat, there were no bounce houses out during the.
Oh yeah, like in Florida.
In Florida, the Wizard of Oz bounce house that would. Shooting up in the air,
flying away into the air, and went across a 4-lane road and flew up about 20 or 30 feet in the air, and it still had 3 kids in it.
They're saying that the wind gusts were 65 to 85 miles per hour. That's
perfect
what they're
day
saying.
for a bounce house.
Yeah, just what you want to do.
No problem. All right, let's put a bounce house. Put it on the beach. No problem. There's no wind there.
What? 85 miles an hour?
No problem. These kids that are fat, they hold it down.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently, 3 kids did get injured.
Yes.
Not critically, but here's the thing. I get that they got injured, but talk about having a cool story for when you get older.
Yeah.
First of all, when you go back to school on Tuesday, they're going to be like, so what did you do? Oh, we had a barbecue in our backyard. Oh, I got swept away by a tornado in a bounce house and survived.
That was like the Wizard of Oz. I win. I win.
Right? And look, as a boy, I'm going to tell you right now, I would have been all, hell yeah, man.
Oh, Pat would have loved to have been in that bounce house. He would have loved.
Yeah.
But really, parents, if the wind is blowing and I guess apparently this bounce house wasn't too secure from what I understand.
It doesn't matter how secure it is. You get a 65-mile-an-hour gust, it's taking that bounce house away.
Well, shoot, our garbage cans go flying here in Las Vegas. I mean, your tarp on your classic car.
Oh, and it's tied down in 10 different spots, and it looks like it's going to carry the truck away.
Yep, absolutely. So what do you think about this whole BB King thing? I guess now they're saying that they might think that BB could have been poisoned. As you know, folks, BB King passed away.
Legend.
Yep.
Legend, absolute blues legend.
And I guess apparently his 2 daughters are claiming that their father was poisoned by 2 aides who worked closely for him.
Okay, first of all, why would they poison him?
Because the kids, they were controlling the money. The 2 aides were controlling the money, so it has to do with money.
Which it happens a lot. But here's the thing. You have a guy in his mid-80s who has been very heavy all of his life, suffered from diabetes, had been sick for a long time. And, so it's going to be, granted, not that it's impossible, it just sounds really unlikely. Now, if it's something where the aides all of a sudden wind up with a bunch of cash in their hands, I'm going to say, well, maybe not so unlikely. But here's the thing. If he was in that health anyway, it wasn't like it was that far off.
Well, they're saying that he died... it could be he had 2 strokes, and apparently he could have been caused by his type 2 diabetes, which he struggled with for more than 2 decades before his death.
Yeah.
One of the things that he didn't want to do was he didn't want to have any invasive procedures done. So, he wanted to go, apparently. He just didn't want these invasive medical procedures to keep him alive even longer. And apparently, now they're going to have an autopsy to find out what exactly he did die of, because now they're opening this up. He never wanted that. He just wanted to die. He just knew he was sick and he wanted to die and didn't want to have procedures. And now he's going to be laid out on a table and they're going to try to find out how he died when he didn't want that.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad, and you hope that there's no foul play involved, especially, and you got to say, well, yeah, because he was this famous, but that really doesn't matter anything. It's still somebody's father, it's still somebody's brother, it's still somebody's kid, that's a human being that you never want to see something like that happen to. But it really did sound like he was ready to go. And I mean, mid-80s is pretty damn good for somebody who's healthy, let alone somebody like himself who'd been,
And the daughters are claiming that these two aides gave him some medication to induce a diabetic shock. That's what they're saying. That's what the daughters are saying.
Yeah.
Because they weren't there. Now, B.B. King, I don't know if you knew this, he had 15 children. 15 children. Yeah,
wow.
He's the dad to 15, which brings up another...
Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids. But this brings up a very interesting story when I was looking around. Did you know that there was an Illinois couple? They welcomed their 100th grandchild. Imagine 100 grandkids. How the hell do you just call them by number? Like, how do you know who these kids are? You, number 1. You, number 69.
Hey, are you one of mine?
77.
Yeah.
Like, what do you... how do you... This is crazy.
What is Christmas like?
A Western Illinois couple recently celebrated the birth of their 100th grandchild. Leo and Ruth Zanger of Quincy have 53 grandchildren, 46 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. The birth of the of great-grandson Jackson Leo on April 8th made that number 100. So that's how they got to 100.
So grandkids and great-grandkids.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yep.
How many kids do they have? Does it say?
The Zangers have been married for 59 years.
Good for them.
And they have 12 children.
And just stopped having sex last year.
And the youngest, his 31-year-old son, Joe, was already an uncle 10 times before he was even born. Wow. He was an uncle 10 times. Oh, my gosh. So I guess most of the family lives in the Quincy area. And like you said, when they get together, they rent a church hall, and it takes 50 pounds of ham or 10 turkeys to feed everybody. Just saying. How do you buy Christmas gifts or birthday presents? I mean, my grandmother was confused, and we were 4. She never could figure it out.
I got to be honest
Michelle,
with you.
Brenda, Liza, Brenda, Michelle.
I never understood the people who thought that, having the hundreds of people in our family is such a wonderful thing. I guess that's what defines you as a person, is by how many of your offspring you have.
I have 0.
The planet's already got enough people on it. Why do you need to reproduce at that level?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need to create that many lives that, and that's all you do? That's your only purpose in life, is to reproduce.
There are people out there. I mean, there were people that when I graduated high school, man, they got pregnant right away because they wanted to start a family. To them, that was their college. To them, that was their career. They wanted that. Me, no freaking way. Nobody is calling me grandma. I have news for you. Nobody is calling me grandma. Sorry. No grandma hair. No grandma Jodi.
Listen, grandma.
No way. If you want to be kicked in the balls, call me grandma.
What if a chick says it?
Kicked in the you-know-where. I'll go all round Ronda Rousey on her. Yeah, no grandma here. I love it when somebody said to me the other day, well, at your age, I said, excuse me? At my age? I beg your pardon? Like, speak for yourself, honey. Speak for yourself. I'm not going there.
Well, I think a lot of it, people have expectations. Once you reach this age, you should be doing this. And there is no standard for what you should be doing at a certain age.
No.
Should you have a career by a certain age? Yes, that's just because you need to support yourself.
You should hope. But there are people out there that don't even...
a lot of people. But, saying that once you get to a certain age, you need to stop doing that, that's just ridiculous.
You need to act your age. Let me tell you something.
Start living like an old person. Stop doing anything fun. Just sit around the house and knit or something like that. Look, if that's what you want to do, have at it.
We just want people to be happy. Whatever makes you happy, do it.
I'm going to be 70.
So long as it's not illegal.
I'm going to be 72, and I'm going to still be doing track days, and I'm going to be the old guy on the track saying, screw you guys.
Just don't call him Grandpa.
Don't call me Grandpa.
And so, Pat, I'm gonna turn it around. Pat Mobley isn't here today. Thoughts and prayers to Pat Mobley. Her sister's pretty sick, so she had to fly home. So hopefully, we're making her smile and she's listening. But Pat, I have to tell you, we have a real Pat's. Both Pats, Pat who's watching and Pat who's sitting here.
You're going to have to be specific as to which Pat you're referring to.
I'm just like that lady with the 100 grandkids.
Yeah.
Pat number 1.
Yeah, there's got to be duplicates.
There's got to be Joe
duplicates
number
out
1.
of 100.
Joe, yeah, exactly. There's got to be duplicate names.
Yeah.
So Pat number 1 and Pat number 2.
I'm Pat number 1.
Right.
Just so you know, I'm Pat number 1.
And Pat number 2 is the other Pat. So
she's the blonde.
Duh. Sometimes I think I am. With these things that come out of my mouth.
You just act like it.
I do. So The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, my favorite show. My girlfriend Pat, number 2, her favorite show. I guess apparently Kim Richards from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, who had this thing going on this year about was she sober? Is she not sober? Well, apparently she melted down this weekend. I wish I was the DJ at this wedding or the wedding planner for this wedding. This had to be awesome. She melted down at her daughter's wedding over the weekend to the point of her sober coach quit. Her sobriety quote, he just went nuts. So her daughter isn't speaking to her anymore, and those present say she was either on drugs or drunk. So she just had nasty things to say to her daughter, Brooke, right after the wedding. She was cursing out the groom's family and was just belligerent. She was just all over the place. The bride vowed she'll never speak to her mom again. And poor Kim, they left for Mexico and wow. So this is a woman. The reason why I even bring this up was because the whole season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you're shaking your head. Mike Walter and Pat have now zoned out. Was the fact that this Kim Richards woman denied the fact that she was drunk and an alcoholic and all this stuff, and now reports on TMZ, which is the truth. Stop snoring.
Huh?
Is that poor Kim Richards? I mean, the poor woman
over?
needs help. Who's Garth Brooks?
Who's Garth Brooks?
Sammy's dead.
What?
But yeah, so anyway, poor Kim Richards. I mean, Pat, she denied the whole season that she had this drug or alcohol problem, and she couldn't even enjoy her own daughter's wedding. That's terrible. I mean,
and you gotta hope
suck it up for the family. That's what I get, Pat. You and I have had this conversation many, many, many a times. That when it's your daughter or your son's wedding day, and you're in a situation where maybe you don't like your ex-husband and don't like your ex-wife, for the sake of your child, suck it up. It's only a few hours. It's one day. Come on.
Yeah, try to act like a human being for a little while. It just shows where the addiction is stronger than your actual common sense.
It just breaks my heart.
How addiction can really, the addiction is more important than anything in your life. Your parents, your kids, your family, your friends, anything. Your addiction is more important. That drink or that drug or whatever it is you're addicted to becomes more important. And as a human being, I get people say, "Oh, it's a disease." It's that. But you know what? As a person, you need to get your ass and get over it and realize that you're hurting other people. And whatever you want to say, that's still it's just a weak person that falls into that. And I get that people are going to curse and moan and everything about, well, it's this, it's that. Ultimately, it means that they can't control their own addictions and that they're hurt. That they're still that we never had a term for assholes before except assholes. Now we know. Now we start giving them clinical names, and we have to feel sorry for them. Yeah, get treatment, get better, but know that you're being an asshole in the meanwhile, and know that you're hurting people, and that if you want, you can get forgiveness eventually, but you got to do something about it.
And people tried to help her. It wasn't like people tried to help not her, but people. There are people out there that want to help you. So. Are you looking at our next home? I see a...
Yeah, I'm looking at our new... No, I'm not. It's in
summer
Dubai.
home. Summer. I'm not going to Dubai.
No, screw that. There's no interest in going to
Pat,
Dubai.
I have absolutely no... I mean, I'm sure going to Europe, your mouse... Oh, the mouse he just bought. Oh, I never saw that mouse before. Look at it. Now it doesn't work.
No, it's the batteries that are acting up.
Already? You just got it.
They just don't sit in it right. So.
Oh, okay. I'm like, his brand new mouse is... dead, but
Dead Mouse. Hey.
By the way, there's some really cool. I remember the Dead Mouse album kicks ass. You should definitely go listen to it. But I remember, you and I have had these conversations before about traveling abroad, and it's beautiful. Ireland, England. Matter of fact, I talked to two of our couples that are getting married this week, tomorrow and Thursday. One of them actually lives in Australia and Ireland, and the other couple is from England. And there's some beautiful places around the world to go see. But I got to be honest with you, here in the good old USA, there's plenty of great places to go visit. Little towns and just fun.
And just some amazing nature in this country.
Yeah.
The Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, all these other,
my God,
Yosemite, the giant, the giant trees and they're so. In fact, I was looking at. I reposted it on Facebook, but it showed basically 50, like a road trip you could take that was 50 amazing destinations and had all these cool places to visit. I'm like, and you think about it, it's like, wow, you could spend months traveling around the country, seeing all these amazing places, but other people decide, we're going to go to Mexico or we're going to go to...
But you know what's funny? The people that live in, the people that do live in Australia...
They come here to see that stuff.
And they stay for months.
Yeah, they stay for months.
Like, I asked
We see them all the time doing motorcycle tours.
Yeah. Or they're always, ever notice they're always in Death Valley? Always.
Oh, yeah, they get a lot of European travelers.
Yeah, a lot of
And they want to experience the 120-plus degree heat.
Oh, my gosh. Death Valley, if you've ever... Definitely...
All Europeans in the summertime. All Europeans.
Oh, always. And what a beautiful place. It is... Death Valley is so pretty. You feel like you're at Mars, first of all. When that Mars rover landed that first time, and we looked at Death... We're like, that's not Mars. That's Death Valley. That's Artist Palette, It is so quiet that your ears actually hurt.
Except for the coyotes, when the coyotes start getting active.
Yeah, the coyotes at night.
Little coyotes running across.
Bitchin'.
Chasing after the rabbits.
Oh, my gosh. So there's so many beautiful places to see. That time we were driving cross country, how many years ago now this was? Like 20-something years ago when we went from New York to L.A. when I moved.
Yeah, that was 24 years ago.
About 24. Wow. God, time flies. And remember, we were eating lunch somewhere in Texas, and right behind, I guess, in front of us, but far, far away, there were wild horses.
Yeah.
Wild horses. Just
running
horses.
around.
They weren't on a farm. They weren't part of anybody's, ranch. They were just, I go, those belong to somebody? And you're like, nope, they're wild horses. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's some amazing parts of the country. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of places to see here.
Yep.
There are some places around the world I'd like to go see, but I certainly would like to hit a few more of the spots here in the U.S.
I can tell you that one of the places I probably don't want to go to, and although I do think that their men there are very sexy, is Russia. There are some hot Russians out there, right, girls? Some hot Russians.
There's some hot Russian women too. But I have to agree on. I don't want to go over there to see them. I'd rather see them over here in a strip club.
And the reason why I say that I don't want to go to Russia is because a Russian government agency that oversees communications and media threatened late last week to block access to Google, Facebook, and Twitter if the social media services don't hand over data on certain Russian bloggers.
Wow.
Could you believe that? Like
you forget it's still Russia.
Yeah.
It's not. They don't have the First Amendment there and all that other stuff that we have here.
The government.
Everybody thinks that it just turned into the U.S. East, but it's not.
It's still Russia, baby. The government agency demanded that Google, Facebook, and Twitter hand over data about users, particularly Russian bloggers with 3,000 daily readers or more.
Yeah, because it's like in China, they want to control the information that's being spread, and they want to be able to go after the people that are saying things bad. And that's, China's much worse, obviously.
They're saying China, Burma, North Korea, and Saudi Arabia block all that.
Yeah.
Are countries that block, that have censorship against this stuff. So it's unclear whether Google, Facebook, and Twitter will comply with the Russians' demands. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. But could you imagine living in a world where, it's so, like I said, the earthquake here in Vegas. Immediately I said, it felt like an earthquake. I go to Facebook, I go to Twitter, and there it was. Like, we get our news so fast now. And even you and I were commenting just as a joke yesterday when we were driving back from the supermarket about, because my mom just got a router in her house, and we
got Wi-Fi.
She's so excited. And the fact that if we don't have this stuff, we're back, like, we're talking about the zombie apocalypse. And it's just, we weren't, just how
We're back to where we were as kids, but we don't have payphones everywhere to use to get a hold of people.
No, you let me tell you something. What was I? Mirage and TPC. TPC Country Club, Tournament Players Club here in Las Vegas, in Summerlin. There used to be a room with a door, swear to God, a room with a door, and it had a payphone in it. Now, gone, and the room is locked, and it's a closet.
Yeah, they're like,
you
we don't
can't
need this
even make
anymore.
a cell phone call in that room, like, and close the door. Like, wow.
They're just storing mops in there or something.
Yeah, that's what they absolutely.
Yeah.
It is a storage closet for stuff because I accidentally opened the door and there it was, and I'm like, that used to be where the phone was.
You see a phone book, a payphone now, and it's like, wow, look at that.
You should still have. I'm sorry, you still need
for emergencies. Yeah,
you gotta have a payphone.
On the side of
there's. I mean,
your phone goes out, something happens in an emergency. There's no way.
I'll tell you what.
Because the payphones, if you remember, they still had where you could make a phone call, a free phone call, collect or to an operator or 911.
But here's your problem, Pat. Here's the problem. Here's the big problem. We don't remember phone numbers anymore. Everything that we do now is programmed into our phone. I mean, I know your number. You know my number. No, but I'm just saying, like, if it was you were trying to call, like, for example, if you were trying to call Kathy, would you know your sister Kathy's phone number?
I wouldn't know what I was
Screw, I can't find Valerie's number. It's like calling the Secret Service. That number changes more times than
right.
I never know what number she's on. But yeah, I mean, imagine. I mean, it's hard now for people to remember that because we used to remember our home phone numbers when we were kids, and now we don't need to. We just we look for someone's name and we press the button, and there you go. You know, it's crazy. I still remember, though, Rosie's number. My mom's best friend, Rosie. I remember
Don't say
that.
it.
I'm not going to say B-E. No.
Easy.
And back in the old days, they used to use, like letters, BE7, or GR6 or Yonkers 5, now, or Murray Hill 7.
Yeah, they never used that in Southern California. We just said the number.
Yeah. In California, you just said the number?
I don't remember. I never remember them saying, Murray Hill.
Oh, gosh, yeah. No, it would be like, Murray Hill 7 or, Yonkers.
No, we just
Y08,
said 530, whatever.
Yonkers 8. Yeah, that was crazy. And now, Pat, because we're talking about the social media, you can get on Periscope now. You're on your Android. Yeah. Twitter launched its Periscope application on Android-powered services on Tuesday, today.
Wow, because Meerkat is finally starting to work properly on the Android. They finally got it to where it's working. So now you say I have Periscope. Yeah, now you say I have Periscope.
Because now we have, Periscope. Tuesday, as a battle for live streaming video spread to the world's leading smartphone platform, a version of Periscope tailored for Android called the Kit Kat version, or newer, debuted on Google Play Shop as Twitter stepped up its offense on rival video streaming application Meerkat. When we started Periscope, we wanted to build the closest thing to teleportation by providing users with the best way to start or watch a live video broadcast. That's what the Periscope team said.
So if they want to do live video broadcasts, why do they make it that you can only send video vertically? When we don't watch video vertically, you watch it. Okay, here's a little lesson for all you people out there. When you video with your phone, hold it this way. If you're listening and you can't see what I'm doing, I'm holding it horizontally, the wide way. Now, if you want to talk on your phone, you hold it vertically. If you want to take video, hold it horizontally. Why? Because we see horizontally. We see more left to right than we do top to bottom. That's how our eyes see, so use your phone that way. Stop taking video vertically. Stop it. Stop it now. Stop doing it.
Well, Meerkat became a virtual overnight sensation on its debut earlier this year, but Twitter soon blocked access to a function that allowed the video to spread further within the social network.
Bastards.
So, by the way, if you want to follow me on Periscope, hashtag it's girl boss. That's what I am, girl boss.
Hey, by the way, we were talking about the flooding in Texas, right? And how the houses, that's why I brought this up. The houses can't withstand the motion of the ocean or any movement, right?
The motion of the ocean.
So that's why I brought up this
story
like a
waterbed story.
Before we get to anything else here. and we talk about Dubai. No, we're not ever going to move to Dubai, that part of the country. No, thank you.
It's a pretty house.
Dubai is known for its extravagant. This is from Huffington Post, by the way. It's known for its extravagant development projects like indoor ski resorts, rotating skyscrapers, and miracle gardens. Right, just to name a few. So, their newest project is the floating seahorse. That's what they're calling it, the floating seahorse. It's an exceptionally lavish floating home with underwater room. So
Ooh,
you guys
cool.
can't see these pictures.
Bitchin'.
But if you go to Huffington Post and you look it up,
that's a thumbs up right there.
There's a picture of a house, and the bedroom is underwater.
Thumbs up.
So you're actually looking out.
The bedroom is underwater?
So it's like being,
that is so freaking
like the
awesome.
tank at SeaWorld, that's what your downstairs would look like.
We're looking at right
That's the bedroom down here.
Oh,
so if you're looking
tell people where they can find that.
So it's just at Huffington Post. Look up floating seahorse.
You should put that on Pinterest. You should pin that on your board or send it to me. Put it on your Facebook. No, better yet, Pat. Doesn't Staying Up with Pat and Jodi have a Facebook page?
Yes, it does.
We do. So why don't we just put it on there?
We could always just share it on a page that I manage, which would be Staying Up with Pat and Jodi, and it happens to be up there now.
There
and
we
I'm
go.
Gonna say,
thumbs up. We just talked about this.
Check out this cool.
Check out my new
floating.
house. Check out my summer retreat. How do we stay there? I don't want to go to Dubai, though.
No, you just buy it. The house just goes in water. You just have to be. They probably ship the damn thing to you. Who knows?
Ship it.
But just build it, ship it.
That UPS guy is going to have a really big bag.
Hey, I got a big package for you over here.
Anybody home?
Where do you want me to put this?
Do I have to climb the stairs?
Yeah, so it's. I just shared it on our Staying Up with Pat and Jodi Facebook page. I shared the link, and it's the floating house. So
the floating house. So check it out.
It's a Dubai developer. Klein Dienst
Love
Group,
that bedroom. Where's the bathroom?
Revealed its visually stunning rendering for the floating seahorse at the Dubai International Boat Show in March of this year, and they say that they'll build 42 of the structures, which are essentially boats without the propulsion, and plan to have them completed by the end of 2016. The floating properties were designed and engineered as part of the World, Dubai's largest artificial island project.
Wow.
So,
wow.
You know, there's some interesting stuff coming out. And I understand Dubai is a very beautiful area. I just have no interest in going to the Middle East for traveling in that direction. You know, no,
you don't?
Thank you.
You don't?
No, I would much
My
rather
headphones
stay
sound
here.
weird.
Do they?
Yeah.
Like you're in another world?
No, they're okay. But you have you don't want to go to Dubai.
No, I do not want to go to Dubai.
But that would
Didn't
be
your
pretty.
sister go to
Could
Dubai?
Yeah, she did.
And everybody says it's beautiful and everything else, but yeah, I have no.
Could you imagine? Just sex on that bed must just be friggin' incredible.
There's a lot of rocking and rolling, that's for sure. Can you imagine you get into it too much and the whole house starts rocking? If the house is a rocking, don't bother knocking.
Damn it, that looks good.
Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
So
that would be a cool house. Let's put it in Lake Mead or something, or Lake Las
Could you
Vegas.
imagine what you would see in Lake Mead? Those ugly fish, those ugly big fish.
See the floating seahorse? They have more pictures on it there that they show.
All right, cool.
Pictures of it. It doesn't look very big, obviously, because it's got a float. But you know what? It's just pretty much a really, really cool
Man, I wish I was
houseboat
rich.
with an this thing's
Should've married
got to
rich.
be really expensive.
Should have married.
You married
rich.
for love instead of for money.
I did.
Yep,
I
well,
should have.
you know,
sucked.
Shit happens.
That's
Shit
true.
happens.
That's true. Maybe
Coulda,
in my
woulda,
next
shoulda.
life. My
Yeah, your
next
next
life.
life.
My next life. So Pat, I will be. That's pretty cool. So go on our website. But I'm going to be in the tri-state area, as I mentioned. We're starting to wrap down. We're getting low on time.
Right.
I might be going to New Haven, Connecticut, and if I go there, I got to watch out because there is a burglar on the loose in New Haven, Connecticut. So if you live in New Haven, Connecticut, look for Bob. Bob, that's what it says. Connecticut police say they are looking for a burglar who goes by the name Bob. Police say a woman reported a break-in at about 2:30 in the morning on Monday at her home in New Haven. The woman told the police she asked who was in her hallway, and the man replied, Bob, before fleeing out the back door. Police said no one who lives in the apartment knows Bob, who apparently entered through an unlocked front door. Police says it doesn't appear that anything was stolen from the apartment. So watch out for guys named Bob in New Haven.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like the police reports for Huntington or for Hermosa Beach.
Yeah, remember those?
Manhattan Beach.
Yeah, remember those crazy?
Yeah, they'd have Crime Watch. The local paper would have Crime Watch. a lawnmower was stolen from a garage on Marine Avenue. Apparently, the garage door was left open overnight, and the owner found that the lawnmower was missing the following morning. There are no leads as to who stole the... Really? You left your garage door open and somebody stole your lawnmower.
It's like
that's crime in Hermosa Beach.
Hey, if that
sounds good to me.
So I'm there. Sign me up. I'll just lock my garage.
Just keep the garage door closed. You're fine.
That reminds me of that headline would be so like a Jay Leno headline when he did headlines.
7-Eleven states a kid who stole a
bubble gum. Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Man leaves a pair of shoes at the front door of his house on the Strand, but only one shoe was there. Like,
when he
who
came
even
out,
calls the cops? Who would even call the cops to say, my shoe was stolen from my front porch? Yeah. My lawnmower is gone.
A couple left their towels out to dry on their wall on Hermosa Beach Strand and came out an hour later to find the towels missing. And somebody had to report, like you said, that.
To busy well, they can't be that busy.
and to the local paper saying, did you know that somebody stole my towels off the wall?
They were red and white striped towels.
You live in an $8 million home on the beach. You could buy some new damn towels. Get over it.
Oh, my God.
Holy smokes.
So when I'm in New York, by the way, I'm going to be on the subway. And did you know?
Really?
Yes, I'm going to take a subway or two while I'm there.
So if you want to see Jodi, just start randomly riding the subway. And if you're lucky, one of them she might be on one of them.
Might be me. Hey,
might
but
be her.
if I want to sing on the subway, like if
don't.
I want to...
Just don't.
Don't.
Just don't. No, if I want to perform, just do something else.
If I want to perform on the New York City subway, apparently you have to try out to be a subway act. Did you know this? I had no idea. They were holding auditions in Grand Central Station the other day.
They're tired of bad singing.
Just so you can stand in a hot, sticky, especially this time of the year, hot, sticky, smells like pee subway station in New York City to play a guitar or to bang on a drum or whatever it is that you do. You have to audition. So apparently, how do you make it to the New York City subway system? You practice.
So you got to audition to play the subway. Wow, New York is getting tougher and tougher.
Boy.
If I could make it here, I could make it anywhere.
Oh
yeah, you gotta audition just to get to the friggin' subway.
Can you imagine, like, audition to be on, like Christopher Street or what the hell? I can see if you're playing Times Square. That's a pretty cool subway station to be in. Do you know U2, Bono and U2 put on disguises and did a concert in the subway about a month ago, Pat? Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Yes, and they were right there where you take the shuttle from Grand Central into Times Square or vice versa, Times Square to the Grand Central shuttle.
Yeah.
I recognize that. I couldn't remember. I think it was Times Square going to Grand Central, but there was an area, and that's where they were playing for free. And people didn't know it was them. A few people some people might have caught on, but people were just walking by, throwing money in the guitar case. Hey, here.
They made like $12.
Could you imagine Bono?
Thanks.
That's like bitching.
Hey, good for him. Good for him that they actually did something like that because they're pretty big stars. So
they are. And now to round off tonight's show, Pat, I saved the best story for last.
Oh, boy.
A robotic butt exists for doctors. So the day has finally come when a robotic butt can tell us, don't look at this, can tell us what we're all doing wrong. A medical student, at least what medical students are doing wrong. They have, researchers at the University of Florida have created, are you ready for this? Wait for this is so good. Patrick, a robotic butt who assists medical students in practicing for proctology exams.
Oh, son of a bitch.
His name is Patrick.
A robotic butt exists and his name is Patrick.
Look at the picture. Put that on our Sustainable Power
no.
Jodi. Yes.
That is just wrong.
Patrick.
There is nothing right about that.
Patrick is quite the brainy bottom. He has 4 sensors, which allow the program to alert his examiner as to whether he or she is applying the right amount of pressure. Oh my God! Could you? This is like the newest sex toy in Times Square.
Oh my goodness!
Gosh.
This is okay, of course you. Now, how did you search my name and find embarrassing stuff?
I was on Mashable, and you just found it too.
I did.
On Mashable, where I get a lot of my stuff. There is a robotic butt, and he's helping, which I think is great. It's but they didn't have to name it Patrick. I could think of other names they could have named it, but it helps people with prosthetic exams. And it has sensors, so if you're going too deep, it'll instead of going ow or hey,
and there's the picture is of a big screen and a guy. No, wait, now I gotta explain this. There's a screen, and on the screen there's a guy bent over a counter, and in front of the screen is a fake butt, like a plastic butt. And there's a doctor with his hand in the butt.
I would say fist.
Yeah, he looks like he's fisting. He's got like 4 fingers going in there right now. The only finger I can see is his thumb that's sticking out. If I was the computer, at this point, yeah, apparently I am. You know what my comment would be? 1 finger, please. He's got his whole hand up his ass.
He's fisting. He's fisting.
Oh, you really had to do this, didn't you?
Well, we haven't had a live show. Just think, next week you could have Brandon or even Keith sitting next to you, and you could, it'll be a whole different Staying Up with Pat and Jodi show. I'll be on the screen. Maybe I'll be periscoping. Maybe I'll be hanging out with you too. You never know, in the subway.
Yeah, they did that once. That's about it.
You just never. Maybe Mike Walter and I could make a surprise appearance. You never know. Maybe they could have me on DJ's Drinking Coffee. Now that would be cool. I could sit in with them.
You should bring them shots though and get them drunk.
Oh,
just
I'll
to
give
see what
them
you can
something.
Get out of them. We could see if we could loosen them up a little bit and get them to start talking. If we can get Mike Walter drunk enough to talk wrestling, you know that you did good.
All right, it's on.
It's on. That's the challenge. And since this is at the end of the show, and we've already covered about 8 topics that Mike Walter would want nothing to do with. We know he's not going to get to this point, so we can say whatever the hell we want. Try to get him drunk and talk wrestling. That's the goal.
And if I get him drunk and talking wrestling, what do I get in return?
A pat on the back. You accomplished something. It's just to accomplish it. There's no prize at the end of it except that you got Mike Walter to talk about wrestling.
All right.
So we could talk about it on the show the following week.
Can I feel the rush?
Yeah.
Just saying. Anyway, well, that wraps it up, Pat. It's that time. We got to go. So let's tell everybody how they can find us on...
You can find us on Facebook.
Unless you live in Russia. Unless you live in Russia.
If you live in Russia, no, they can find it. In China, they can't.
Oh, okay.
In Russia, they can, but if you're a blogger in Russia, you may not want to be. You may want to move here. Anyway, Staying Up with Pat and Jodi on Facebook. It's really easy to find us there. Just type it in. On Twitter, you got to pay attention because Twitter only gives you so many characters. It's at Stayin' with no G. Staying Up Pat Jodi. Staying Up Pat Jodi. What is it?
Staying Up with Pat and Jodi.
No.
Staying Up Pat and Jodi.
No.
Staying Up Pat and Jodi.
Staying Up Pat Jodi.
That's it. Staying Up Pat Jodi.
Yeah, no and.
Oh, Staying Up Pat Jodi.
Staying Up Pat Jodi. See, you don't even know.
I wasn't listening. I was too busy.
Stink at this.
I'm looking at Patrick's
you
butt.
You stink at this.
Kind of getting excited.
And we may debut the first either Periscope or Meerkat broadcast of Staying Up with Pat and Jodi next week too. We're going to start throw some technology in here.
Yeah, we're already on YouTube, by the way, so you can watch us on YouTube.
See us on YouTube. YouTube, Staying Up. Just type in Staying Up with Pat and Jodi, and our show will come up because it's on my personal YouTube page, not my Cycle Sports TV one, obviously. So just type in Staying Up with Pat and Jodi, and it will pop up. This is show 15 now.
Something like that. We got to look it up.
15,
yeah, I think we're up to 15. We're getting up there. We're doing pretty good.
Make sure to subscribe.
Yes.
Make sure to share with your friends. Make sure to comment. Tell us how much you love us.
Or tell us how much we suck.
Yeah, they can do that too. We'll just delete and block you.
Yeah, we'll block you. Block.
And call you names afterwards.
Call you names. Just call you a bully.
No, I would never do that.
I would. But anyway, I hope you guys have a fun-tastic week. Thumbs up. I'm heading to New York if you're hanging out.
New York City.
Find
dog.
Me at the Claremont Diner.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Claremont Yonkers Avenue, and Dunwoody Pizza. I'll be at Dunwoody Pizza.
Dunwoody
Pizza having Italian ice and Claremont Diner with all the old people before 11 o'clock. With my orange juice.
Orange juice. Coffee and orange juice.
See ya.
Yeah, goodbye.